were, if you were for sure certain that you'd come out winning, if you were for sure certain, you know what I mean. If you were for sure certain that you'd come out winning, what would you do differently right now, today, if you were sure of that? Because that's what this Saturn-Neptune conjunction in Aries moment is all about. It's about coming out winning, succeeding, and whatever gets revealed to us right now in this chapter of our lives is showing us exactly where we need to level up, show up, do the work, knowing on a deep cellular level that we are going to win. We're going to come out victorious. And whoever comes out on the other side of this, whatever version of you comes out on the other side of this, is exactly the type of person you are always meant to show yourself just how capable you are in becoming that person. That's what this Saturn and Neptune conjunct in Aries is all about. And of course, there's like some real, like true, like historical receipts that this transit comes with. There are some major aha moments, absolutely. But I think on top of all of this, what's coming through for me is that we're redefining what true leadership looks like. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. They're the first sign who says, me, I am here. I have arrived. I am Aries. First sign of the zodiac. They have to lead themselves forward. They don't have anyone yet. So they become a leader. They start engaging with the world, experiencing the world for what it is. And then eventually, boom, they become a leader, right? But I think somewhere along the way, as a collective, we've confused leadership and compliance. We've given our power over to leaders who have used that power nefariously. And I think this Saturn-Neptune conjunct moment has the possibility to showcase, highlight. I can totally look at this transit and see it as the beginning of leaders dropping, leaders, their truth being revealed. And we're already starting to see this happening. Look who got arrested today. A former prince, right? Didn't get arrested for the creepy sexual pedophile acts he was committing, of course. Got arrested for, leaking finances and being an insider. But like, we're seeing the beginnings of this much bigger conversation here, which for me, I look at Saturn, I think of structure, I think of Neptune, I think of it as spirit, Aries being all about leadership. We're looking at the spirit and structure of leadership. Now, on one side of the spectrum, of course, since this world is immensely paradoxical, that Saturn-Neptune energy is going to get completely ramped up for those people who are already in tyrannical, control-hoarding roles. And on the other side of the spectrum, there's a potential here for it to give us, people like us, anybody who's watching this broadcast, permission to step up and to lead by example in a different way. You see, a lot of the astrology that we're experiencing right now is generation-defining astrology. It hasn't happened to waking consciousness for a minute. When we think of Pluto in Aquarius, we're looking at American Revolution, Haitian Revolution, French Revolution. I'm sure there's more revolutions if I really did a deep dive in the history of it all. Like, the words revolution go hand in hand with Pluto in Aquarius transit. And coincidentally, Pluto returns when Pluto tends to make a return back to the natal degree of wherever these governments were born. Over here in the States, it's our Pluto return. Very big deal. Bill of Rights were written during a time like this. These themes of tyranny and leadership and oppression all of that was super loud. Of course, it was about liberation that was only afforded to white men. So it came with its own shadow. These transits always come with a shadow. But on the flip side, it did begin these conversations of freedom. And now Pluto is returning. It's in Aquarius again as a review, as a tipping point as well. Aquarius here says, so about that democracy, right? How are we doing? Are we really living by those ideals? Or are we contorting it and shape-shifting it so that it fits the ideology of, whoever is in power? And I think what has been coming through for me in thinking about this Saturn-Neptune conjunction, which is happening tomorrow on February 20th, as well as its relationship to Pluto and Aquarius, a generation-defining transit. Pretty soon, Uranus and Gemini, another generation-defining transit. We have these archetypes here who all want to be heard in their own way. Aries really wants to lead something. Aquarius wants to, be diplomatic and discerning and to make sure that the fine print is up to speed. All the while, Gemini is there to question and to hopefully help us stretch our imagination here to then entertain possibility, right? And I many of us, we want change. We're romanticizing change. Many of us keep talking about, oh, we need a change. We need community. We need this. We need that. And I think it would really benefit us to stop thinking that the systems that have already been created will be the ones to save us. Democracy was an earth-shattering, mind-blowing concept for European tyranny, monarchy, all of that. And when a constitution was formed, when the United States was formed, it was really ahead of its time. It was clunky in the sense of how this country eventually came to embrace the actual constitution, this idea that, holding truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, right? To which we're seeing this conversation really play out. I think Pluto here is really elevating that conversation even more and going, are all men truly created equal here? Or is it just a select few? Now, the Saturn-Neptune conjunction, last time Saturn and Neptune were conjunct, it was in the sign of Capricorn, 1989, fall of the Berlin Wall, fall of the Soviet Union, very major, lots of walls, systems crumbling, very earth sign energy, very Capricornian. They built the form, they built the model, and Saturn and Neptune went boom in a very dramatic global way. Saturn and Neptune are quite, they really put a spotlight on the main stage here and go, look at this. Are we really within integrity here? Saturn is all about integrity. Is this within integrity? We're saying we're wanting to build, structures and systems. Is this a really good system or is this a damaging system? And then the fall of the Berlin Wall took place because whatever cannot remain held to the level of integrity, to that level of Saturnian integrity, Saturn goes, nope, off with your head, goodbye. Let it crumble. Let it die. It's time for it to die. It's time for it to let it go. So the walls come crumbling down, and Neptune here in Capricorn really came to dissolve those boundaries as well, to open the conversation around these walls. What are walls? Are these walls really protecting, or are these walls prisons? More of a spiritual conversation there with Neptune and Capricorn. Now, Neptune in Aries, which is where Neptune is in right now, is a much different conversation. Way more, a very different conversation. We're looking at the philosophical, spiritual conversations to do with action. to do with leadership, impulse, drive, those parts of us that come online when we say we're going to do something and we actually do the thing, right? Very Aries territory. And Neptune here is really wanting us to have a deeply spiritual conversation around our action, our courage, to which I relay the message on to you. What is your relationship with courage? What is truly your relationship with courage? How does courage show up in your life? How does fear show up in your life? Because this moment that we're in and on the precipice of, I keep talking about how it's going to require that we level up to a standard here that might be uncomfortable for some people who are just wanting other people to handle the predicament we're in. And I'm looking at how centralized power is, who actually has those power, who makes those decisions. We've done the protesting, we've done the rallying, and as cathartic as it is to participate in those protests, absolutely, if you have the energy for it, go for it, do it. But we're not being heard, you know? And at a certain point, it's starting to feel like we're talking to a wall. Where are the results? And that's what Aries really wants here. Where are the results? We're acting, we're screaming, we're hollering, we're taking action here. But are you hearing me? And I don't think they are. Because why? All power is extremely and immensely consolidated. And it always blew my mind, even growing up, hearing this thing that politicians lie. And as a child, as a young adult, it blew my mind. Just like these folks, they make decisions, important decisions for us, and we're not holding them up to a level of integrity that we just accept. Politicians lie. The pageantry that is presidential candidacies, anything like that, like the pageantry of it all, the fanfare of it all. And it's like, are they true leaders here, or is that an imposter? That's why I love the Saturn and Neptune Aries transit, because it's going to amplify those imposters even more, and it's also going to amplify our bullshit meter and being able to discern which leaders are really all about it and which leaders are all talk and fluff. It's no wonder why the last time Pluto was in Aquarius during the French Revolution, we got terms like eat the rich. Eat the rich. Why? Because at a certain point, humanity, they wake up to the reality of the fact that we are a resource for them. We are a resource. Our time is a resource. Our energy is a resource. Our talents are a resource. Our creative skills are a resource. And think of how much of that energy is siphoned into systemic power. Aren't you tired? Aren't we tired of participating in a system that literally only takes from us? I know I am. And even participating in doing this work, I find myself sometimes really feeling all about it and really inspired. Earlier, I was sitting on the couch having all of these thoughts about Saturn and Neptune and Aries. And I said, okay, I feel inspired. I want to hop online and I want to talk to people about this. And that felt really good. Other times it feels like an obligation, like I'm doing this job. And I wonder how much of that is human and how much of that is conditioned by these systems that measure our value from our output. So these conversations here, it's quite radicalizing to think about. I think where we're getting stuck is in the, I hear you, Daniel. Daniel, I hear it, yes, but what do we do? How do we do this? Where do we go? But I'm tired. When will the astrology chill? When will the astrology like just relax? I'm just tired. I want things to just be easy. To which I say, nothing about the time we chose to incarnate was meant to be easy, period. Easy is not the point. Expansion is. So even as we're talking about these concepts, I love the queer movement. As a queer person, I'm just like, fuck yes. I deserve to be here. Like, just because I'm different should not mean that I should carry this fear every single day I leave this house of just like whether or not I'll be laughed at, whether or not it's safe for me as a queer person. And it's like, we think, oh, well, like, what about me though? All this focus is on queer people, but what about me? It's like, the queer plight is the point. The marginalized plight is the point. If we cannot, at least at a baseline level, look at those prejudices, look at how our biases create so much hate and fear in the other, how will we ever build utopia? It's quite rudimentary for me as a queer person, but there are so many others in this world who have no fucking clue what that looks like. They only know their bias. They only know what they've been trained to know. So now, as consciously awakening people who are watching this, it is our responsibility to do the work in being that bridge. If the fear arises that goes, oh, but I don't know if as a queer person I can be myself, be yourself anyway. Your authenticity is probably the biggest revolutionary gift you can contribute to this moment that we're in. Be yourself. That is what Aries is all about. It says me. Me, 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 me. And I deserve the right to be here. I don't have to earn my right. I earned it by literally coming out of my mother's womb. I've already done the hard work. Aries says, I'm here. And just because I'm here doesn't mean we can't exist together. And if my existence is threatening to you, and in that threat, you want to erase me, then in a very Aries way, fuck you, off with your head. I think we are probably tiptoeing around just how much the violence potentially here with this astrology can increase. We've already seen remnants of it. For some of us, it's hard to wrap our minds around it. For some of us, we're desensitized to the violence. If you are in the marginalized community, unfortunately, violence is something we're very familiar with. For others, it's quite shocking. For others, unfortunately, it takes the clear, cold-blooded killing of a white ally for them to wake up and go, oh shit, something like this could happen to me too. But I think the point here is when push really comes to shove, when confrontation is literally right there looking at you dead in the eye, how will you respond? How will you respond? And some of the spiritual pacifists will say, but we shouldn't fight. We are all one. We are all one. I say to that, yes, we are all one. But sometimes to get there, we have to do the confronting work of survival. And that's Aries. Survival. It's raw. It's instinctual. It's the mama bird leaving the nest and going, you figure out how to fly. I had to do it on my own. Now you have to do it on your own. It's primitive. It's the caveman who is out there in a scary world, sees something shadowy coming towards them, and with their club, they whack it because they don't know if it's going to hurt them. I am amazed that I grew up in a day and age where so much of the language in school for me growing up was about celebrating each other's differences. Growing up with Arthur and Sesame Street, and I really thought that at least the world, the way in which school was painting it to me, that we were heading in the right direction. And I went to school in New Jersey, very liberal space as well, up in the Northeast. Like, I was very privileged in that I understand other people did not have the same education, but I grew up with a lot of tolerance being taught to me. And it just blows my mind that we're here, because it really felt like we were heading in the right direction. And it just goes to show you that if power is given to the wrong person, that sort of influence has rectifying consequences. It's awful who we give that power to, who we give that control to. It's awful. It's awful what that sort of power can do. So I'll ask you here, opening up the conversation a bit, where do you have to be more brave in your life? Where do you get to be more brave? When you think of being and boldly creating and embodying the sort of new leadership that we need to really get connected with, what does that look like for you? What does that look like for you? Because we need to know. And this idea that our anger isn't spiritual, that reactivity isn't spiritual, even that war isn't spiritual, it's illusory. I think of Sun Tzu's Art of War here. Whereas, we've constantly have been at war with one another. This world is forever at war with one another, and war is a part of peace again and again and again and again. You look at the natural world and you would think we'd know better, right? You look at the natural world, you constantly see nature at odds with itself. The circle of life. There's a predator for everything, right? Every living organism has an enemy. Every living organism has an enemy of some sort. And you would think with our knowledge, with our intellect, with how advanced we are in certain aspects of humanity, that we would really know this in our core, like our soul. But we're back at the beginning, learning these lessons again from that Aries point, the beginning, the first sign of the zodiac. And here we go. So we begin. Some beautiful comments coming in through. When you have no other choice, being brave is all we can be. Bravery is stopping this endless cycle of sickness that has hurt and killed so many. Absolutely. Brave in my visibility to speak wisdom and truth. Until now, I felt unsafe to be visible, that I would give access to people that are immature and cruel. Being brave and being yourself. Absolutely. Most animals would protect their young more than humans ever cared to. Absolutely. And they say we are the smarter species. Yep. A book offering here for friends. Somebody says on YouTube, I just finished a book which kind of touched on pacifism and resistance called Word for World is Forest. Ooh, written in 1972. I like that. I'm going to have to look that up. Yeah. Saturn and South Node in the first degrees of Aries. Woo! Get ready, baby. It's going to be a good, expansive era for you. And I do think of how Neptune works. And also Neptune works through symbolism. It's a very spiritual planet. It's, you think of Pisces when you think of Neptune and the sort of boundaryless, sort of dissolving energy that is Neptune. Symbolism, imagery, iconography, how imagery influences us. That's a very Neptunian concept here as well. And I think of how a lot of even the movies, the films, the TV shows, I feel like a lot of them are created through that Neptune energy. And for this last sort of Neptune and Pisces transit, the content even that was created felt very end of the world, last sign of the zodiac, end of the world sort of energy, the Avengers, Endgame, as that being a very hero's journey representation of like, whoa, the heroes rising to fight against evil. And now I look at Neptune and Aries, whereas Neptune and Pisces was telling that story in that sort of very dreamy, ethereal realm through movies, through TV. Whereas Aries is right in your face. It's here. It's here. And I think of the hero's journey a lot, Joseph Campbell's work, and how what I can intuit from this moment is really that call to adventure, which is scary. The universe has been ringing that phone and ringing that phone and ringing that phone and saying, like, when are you going to step up? When are you going to take the lead here? Because, like, what we want and desire isn't too much to ask for. And I don't know what the building process of that looks like, but I do know that it is going to be a process. And the more we show ourselves through our action, through going outside of that comfort zone of like, oof, never done that before, but I know it's something I need to do. Whew, I'm sure it will surprise you more often than not, just how capable you actually are. We are. It's time we show ourselves just how capable we are. The world that we're on the precipice of building right now, it's never been done before. It's never been done before. Not with this much knowledge, not with this many people. Definitely not with this many people. So if we're really going to do the Aries leadership building role here, then how do we do that in a very pioneering way? I love all the pioneering energy that Aries is about, because Aries wants to be first at something, right? They want to make that mark and said, I did this. I climbed to the top of Everest and I am here. Me first. It's really quite funny. But we're looking at being first here in regards to the spirit of leadership, which is Neptune. Neptune spirit, right? Neptune being the spirit of our leadership. The spirit of our courage. And it's scary, you know? It's scary being courageous. It's scary not knowing what's on the other side, especially if we've been conditioned to equate predictability with comfort. A lot of what has been birthed in a modern day civilization sense was birthed through the zodiac wheel, through Aries, that first Aries sign being like, all right, we got to start. We got to survive here. And then Taurus being like, okay, here's some tools. Here's some things. I have some ideas. Here's some earth to build with. And Gemini is like, here's some words, some questions to consider. And then Cancer being like, okay, cool. Here is the emotional home. Here you are safe. Here you belong. Here we belong. Leo then going, here's the stage. Here are the stories we can tell from what we're building. Here's how we can tell our story. I want to tell our story. And Virgo being like, I want our story to be of service to something. Libra coming in going like, what's your story though? And then what's your story? And how are we the same in that story? Are you telling? And then Scorpio being like, are you telling me the full story though? Do I know the whole thing, or are there secrets? Are there secrets? Is there pain? And now there's space for that. Sagittarius then taking all of that information, slowly becoming the elder and going, I need to figure out what the meaning of life is now that we've built the thing and we know the story and I know your story. There must be something more to this. We're missing something here. God. And then Capricorn goes, yes, God, I want to build with God. I want to make this even better, not just for myself so that I can be safe and secure, but for other people. I want to build a legacy, not just for me, but for others. And Aquarius goes, are you really building for others though? Or are you only building for yourself? Aquarius going like, okay, what about the future? What about long after you've expired? There's a responsibility here. And Pisces really understanding that, oh, okay, cool. I know we're trying to build everything and fix everything, but we'll be back. And everybody's like, what? What do you mean we'll be back? And Pisces is like, I know, we'll be back. We'll be back. Figuring it out is not the point. But going through the whole cycle again, and Aries is like, okay, cool. I'm back. How do we start? Where do we go from here? And it's this constant cycle. Every day my inbox is flooded with at least a few messages from people who say, I'm just so tired. I don't think I can. And you can. And you will. The cycle is endless. It keeps going and going and going and going and going and going and going. It doesn't stop. That is life. But we keep looking at it as a circle versus looking at it as a spiral that goes up and up and up. And every incarnation we get better and better and better. We will leave this life and life will be better for those who come after us. We will become those future ancestors. Absolutely. Absolutely we will. But trust and believe, who we entrust this world after we're gone, they're still going to find something wrong with it. They're still going to be like, oh, what were they thinking? They were fighting over what? That's ridiculous. And through that sort of like yearning to make this world a better place, we continue trying to reach utopia, right? But the goal isn't utopia. The goal is the journey again and again and again. And perhaps utopia, reaching that sort of utopian state and never getting there, is exactly why we keep living in the first place. Is exactly why we keep returning back to the beginning, to that Aries point that goes, now we begin again. That's the point. The point is not to get to the final thing. If it were the point, then we'd all reach nirvana instantly once we leave this physical realm, and it's like, boom, okay, you did it, you did life. But there's a reason why we keep coming back, because we love a challenge, right? We love a challenge. We love that part of us that says, you know what? There has to be a better way. And who better than Aries to go, yup, and I'm going to get there first. I'm going to get there first. And you will get somewhere first. You will probably not get to the place first. But that's the point. We're truly adrenaline junkies if you think about it. We want that feeling of journeying. So when I get flooded with messages of people like, when is it going to end? When is it going to end? I'm just like, what are you really resisting? What new beginning are you really resisting? I don't want another new beginning. I'm like, you really do. You just don't want to begin this way. You don't want to begin this way. And that's scary. You know, it's scary to begin again, no matter what age you are. Some people will look to the youth. Some elders will look to the youth and be like, I know exactly where you are. I don't have the energy for that anymore. I already did it. It's your turn now. To which I look to the elders. I'm like, please don't do that to us. Please don't give up. Show us. Teach us. Tell us your stories. Show us how we can become better demonstrators for the moment we're living through. Be those leaders. And for the youth, keep initiating, keep acting, keep trying on. We're not meant to be one thing. And I think that's what the Saturn-Neptune conjunction can reveal for us here. On one side of the spectrum, it's definitely already revealing how leadership is flawed, who leadership really belongs to, how leadership is used to take advantage over people, the masculine presence of dominance, and how dominance, it's a tool used to keep the general mass population docile. And I think we're tired of being docile here. I think we're tired of playing it safe. I don't think we're angry enough. I really don't think we're angry enough. I think there's a part of us that's just like, oh, well, maybe if I just pray it away, or maybe if I just don't pay attention to it, it'll eventually go away and fix itself. It'll sort itself out. But to push back against the New York City motto, it's none of your business. I would say it absolutely is your business right now. I love you, New York. I love you, New Yorkers. I have mad love for you. Lived there in the city for 10 years. And there's a lot of it's none of your business energy, right? But it is. And this sort of like, it's none of my business. None of my business is exactly what has gotten us to this point. Because we're not making it our business. But it really needs to be ours. When democracy was created, it was to give power to the people. And the checks and balances were created to keep those powers in line. But the checks are imbalancing and the balances are in checking and the people are empowering. So how do we do this? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Accountability absolutely is one of the biggest steps we can take. Being accountable for yourself and how you're showing up, asking those questions for sure. And I'll leave it to you now. Is anybody in the space here? Anybody have questions? Any questions? Anything they'd like to share in the space? I'd love to hear from you. And we can go ahead and answer some thoughts, some questions here for the next 15 minutes or so. Show up for your future self and each other. Absolutely. It's not just one of us, it's all of us. Absolutely. And I would add just a little paradox to that. It's not one, it's all. Really knowing what your one is in the all as well is necessary. What is your oneness and the allness? What are those clear boundaries? What are your clear values? What is that line in the sand that goes absolutely no? When you think of being pushed to the edge, what is that thing that'll push you to the edge? What is that? And can you get very clear about that and really use your life as a test against those values, against your personal constitution, right? So in order for us to all come together, you got to really know you're one in the all. That is what makes us all come together as one. All does not mean all the same one. No, that's not what the universe is about. Every flower is completely different. They might look the same, but if you really study each of those flowers, there's differences. Every snowflake is different, right? So every person is different. And in embracing those differences, owning those differences, radically loving and embracing those differences, that is where we can get to allness. An allness that goes, we can all be in the same room at least, you know? So, a question I was asked here, are you Aries or Aquarius? I'm an Aries sun, Libra rising, Capricorn moon, North Node in Aquarius. So, definitely Aquarius is an archetype I'm sitting with a lot. Your North Node is your wisest teacher. Wisest teacher. As a South Node in Leo, I'm really good at taking up space, being flashy. This is why I have to remind myself to also ask people questions because I can very much so take control of a space, but inviting other perspectives and points of view into these reflections is necessary. So even in my brand and what I do, I use that Leo South Node in my 11th house of community. Coincidentally, that's where Aquarius is at home. Using that 11th house, South Node, Leo, to bring people into space, to hopefully help them embrace their inner Aquarian weirdo. I really love my North and South Node placement. I'm very grateful for it. And I'm in constant questioning of it to make sure that I am doing my best to be an intentional public servant, not an egoic one, but an intentional one, a conscious one who's willing to admit they make mistakes too. So yeah. Oh, I love you too. Thank you for that. Love, I'm receiving and reciprocating it. Some questions coming in on YouTube here as well. It's question and answer time, friends. What to focus on in a meditation in this Neptune-Saturn at 0 degrees conjunction? I would say, okay, a metaphor I've been using to explain this Saturn-Neptune conjunction. If we were to remove all the colonization routes of exploration, if we were to, in a very pure sense, daydream of a time where everyone thought the earth was flat, and everyone around you is going, the earth is flat, the earth is flat, the earth is flat, the earth is flat. But something deep down inside of you goes, but I want to see it for myself. If we were to remove the colonization ties from that conversation and go, I'm going to hop on this boat and I'm going to go off into the horizon. And people are like, you're crazy, you're mad, you're going to fall off the earth. You're going to fall off the earth. A dragon is going to eat you. A dragon is going to eat you. And you're like, I want to find out if that dragon does eat me. I bet that dragon won't. So you hop on that ship, you go off into the horizon, your sweat is dripping down the side of your face, palms sweaty, mom spaghetti, heartbeat, but I gotta know. That is Aries. That is this Saturn-Neptune conjunction. So if you look at your personal spiritual horizon, if you were to daydream about that in meditation, whatever horizon you've accepted, and if you were to push the boundaries of that horizon forward to that point where your palms sweat, your heart races, and your body is responding, it's the verge of that fear and excitement, that very fine line right there, that is Saturn-Neptune conjunction, right? Really thinking of that edge, really thinking of that, how can I really expand my horizon here? When you think of that, that's meditate. That's how I would meditate for the Saturn-Neptune conjunction. Going to the places that no one has gone before in a very Star Trek-y way. I'm such a Trekkie. I love Star Trek. To explore the places no one has gone before is very Aries. And explore that for yourself. And then doing the day in, day out Saturn work of feeling that fear and going, no, I got to push out against this fear. I got to get over this fear. I can't let this fear get the best of me. Fear is an amazing passenger, a shitty driver. Shitty ass driver. And Saturn and Neptune are both there waiting to celebrate you as you test those limits of your courage. Now, courage lives inside of us all in different ways. If you are a very closeted person, right? And you're not very visible, you're very uncomfortable being visible, you're always on the outside looking in, I'd really start thinking about leadership. How can I be more visible? How can I really start contributing my voice, my presence, my ideas to a space and be that leader? Be the fool. Absolutely. If you are somebody who dominates and is really good at taking up space, maybe the next courageous thing would be for you to not speak, not to say much, still be in rooms and environments where people are talking, but also using your voice to give voice to others. I think that would be an amazingly courageous thing to think about. If you are someone who doesn't feel super strong in their body, physically, this would be an amazing time to start testing the limits of your body. Build strength physically. Show your body just how strong you are, how capable you are. Test the limits of your physicality. test it. Show yourself how capable you can, how strong you can be. If you are somebody who is like completely workout junkie and your body is like an obsession for you, well, what about the spiritual courage of it all? Going deep into the well of your spiritual courage, strengthening that spiritual muscle. So we're not just using the strength as armor, we're also fortifying our spirituality here as well. Okay? So many different ways to work with this conjunction, but the theme is courage and leadership, leading yourself in a way to realms that are unfamiliar to you. The word pioneer comes up when I think of Aries. So we're pioneering something. We're pioneering ourselves and we're pioneering in public. Okay? So that would be something I would meditate on in regards to this Saturn-Neptune conjunction. Yeah. Another question coming in here. How can we support each other and come together as spiritual warriors? Here's the thing. I feel as though the word spiritual warrior has this sort of like in-your-face confrontational energy. But to be a spiritual warrior is to be a mindful warrior, a present warrior, one who is in spaces that are potentially chaotic and knows exactly what to offer to the space to alchemize it in a way where we're all listening to each other. And that, my friends, is like the diplomatic tool that is how we can really help each other rise to that occasion. Because what I fear in the beginning phases of every revolution, every major change, is that there's a lot of chefs in the kitchen. A lot of chefs in the kitchen, a lot of emotion, and a lot of people really want to do something. A warrior in stillness, absolutely. I feel like that would be helpful in exploring and helping us come together as one as well. Because there are going to be so many people, many different walks of life, who will probably spiritually awaken for the first time in their life right now. Okay? And for some of us who, you know, we're really doing the Neptune Pisces work, Saturn Pisces work, we were like, damn, spiritual awakening was the theme. But for us, spiritual awakening lived in a very emotional state. All right. That's Neptune. Neptune is that planet of spiritual awakening. Neptune in Aries is a planet of spiritual awakening through action, through impulse. It's that, I gotta do something. I gotta do something. Oh my God, I've been this blind. It's like literally the lights getting turned on, that big bang moment. And you're like, fuck, what did I just do? What have I been doing? And there's this sort of impulse of like, I gotta do something, gotta do something. And that can be very chaotic. That was very, very, very chaotic. So there's that working here with that Neptune, Saturn conjunction energy as well, and spiritual warrior energy that is Neptune in Aries. So amidst all of that, we gotta do that middle way, middle path work that goes, okay, I can be still here. If that answers your question. How does your Lilith, what does your Lilith placement tell you? Lilith is all about your dark feminine energy. Lilith is Kali. Lilith is dark feminine in a reclaiming way. So depending on where Lilith is, like let's say you have a Lilith in Taurus, we're reclaiming our body. All right. Let's say you have Lilith in Aries, we're reclaiming our authority. If you have Lilith in Leo, we're reclaiming our visibility. And Lilith is a beautiful alchemizing reclamation tool to use in a very dark feminine way. That says no very clearly, not in a masculine way, but in that sort of very dark feminine receptive way. Okay. So yeah, that's what I think of as far as Lilith goes. Do you subscribe to the opinion that this conjunction is about the year from July 2025 till 2026, not the date? I I mean, I feel like everything we've been experiencing so far has been in relationship to the themes that have ignited from 2025 to now. Neptune dipped into Neptune, and both Saturn dipped into Aries in 2025. So we got a little pre-show of what that looks like. So I feel like it all plays a part for sure. Again, with these themes of leadership and who leadership really belongs to, it keeps coming up. Centralized power. Pluto is really breathing down these systems' neck here in Aquarius, really illuminating centralized power themes. And Aries is really illuminating how control is manipulated against people. Yeah, I think what we're seeing here is the beginning, the birth of a new form of leadership that is quite necessary. The only thing I'm in constant where I'm like a little bit back and forth on is who claims that leadership. What leadership takes its place? What form of leadership takes its place? To which I would really hope it's a matriarchal form of leadership. I think we need that. It's been hella patriarchal for so long, and I think we need some matriarchy to, balance the intense masculine forces that be. And matriarchy doesn't mean just come here and let me hug you and oh my god, my little baby mama's here. No, matriarchy, if you go look at matriarchy, they lay down the law. They absolutely lay down the law, but they don't allow. Masculine energy can get tyrannical very quickly. And it is the female archetype that knows how to hello, tyranny, quiet down. Quiet down and eat your food, okay? And they really know, come on, mother, indeed. They know how to tame tyranny. And for so long, it hasn't been called out enough. And it's been through, I love the Me Too movement. It's great that we're having these conversations, of course. But I think these conversations, even around, sexual abuse, the imbalance of patriarchy here, the masculine dominance conversation as well. I think we're still dealing with it too softly. We're dealing with it too softly. And part of that is the way in which the feminine archetype is conditioned through patriarchy here. Exactly, that mom look. And patriarchy trains the mothers to teach young boys not to be emotional, to toughen up, to look the other way. As a queer person raised by a single mother, I wasn't allowed to cry. Not at all. Boys don't cry. That's how patriarchy conditioned mothers to raise their boys. So what do we got? We got a whole bunch of boys who have been trained how to manipulate situations so they can get what they want. Don't know how they feel about certain things because they equate empathy as being one of our biggest, the most damaging things. Fucking Charlie Kirk. Like, what? No, empathy is what's lacking. Lack of empathy is what's gotten us here. So, anyways, that's my tangent on, what were we talking about? My opinion about the astrology of July. Yeah. I think it's all feeding into each other. What is beyond singularity, and how to do the opposite paradox? Got it. Thank you. I don't know if that's a question. If you're still in the room, Richard, I'd love to hear more about this. Not really a question, but I'm currently changing careers largely because I'm trying to build more tangible skills that I can bring to my community, but it takes time. Yes, that's also another very important part of this conversation. Resistance work is long game work, y'all. It doesn't happen overnight. When we think of Pluto and Aquarius, a lot of the mess was very much in those earlier years of revolution, but before we got to at least a civilized point in, that sort of government that was established, we had to go through a lot of shit. It was endless. It was endless work. It was endless work, but the work is the point. The work is the point. Resistance work is long game. It doesn't happen overnight. It's not Amazon Prime next day delivery. I'm sorry. I wish it was. Not saying that I wish it was. I absolutely wish it was that easy and that quick. It happened that quickly, but it don't. It really don't, unfortunately. But we got this. We absolutely got that. Empathy is everything. Yeah. And you do not lack it when doing what's right, regardless of how harsh. Absolutely. Absolutely. So how can I get the last reading I have credit on with you? Groovy girl, I love you. It's so good to see you in this space. Could you email me, love? At this point, I'd rather just do a one-on-one session with you. Could you shoot me an email? hello@colormecrazy.world. And instead of doing a one-on-one session, a tarot reading, I'd rather do a one-on-one session. Plus, you've supported this channel so much. You deserve a one-on-one session with me. You don't have to do the tarot route. So I got you. Shoot me a message and we'll get something on the books for you. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to actually talk with you one-on-one. Let's see. How do you find your Lilith placement? Yes, it's in your natal chart. I think in the Chani, I don't know. Does Chani? I love Chani. Chani's my astrologer. She's amazing. She's awesome. I very much align with her way of astrologying. Does she give you Black Moon Lilith in Chani? I use my own software for Black Moon Lilith. Yeah, it's in Chani. So if you go to Chani, get yourself a free chart reading from there and you can find Black Moon Lilith. It's in your natal chart for sure. So hello@colormecrazy.world is my email. hello@colormecrazy.world. Dark feminine. I had this conversation with my female dentist yesterday. Didn't see that coming. People are waking up. Absolutely. My Lilith is in Virgo. My Virgo is so full of stuff. Oh, what else you got there in Virgo? A question coming in. Let's say you return to Earth in the next life as an eagle. What human activities do you miss? Mine would be cooked food, massages, and creating art. I love that. Absolutely. That's a good question to answer. .world. .world. Thank you for stepping in, friends. All right, friends. So on that note, I feel like the tangent is kind of complete. We're full circle. You have a lot of tools to work with in regards to the Saturn and Neptune conjunction. Think about it. Let it marinate. Pay close attention to what's happening on or around the date of February 20th. I think it's quite interesting that the closing ceremony of the Winter Olympics happens on the 22nd, like 2 days after this conjunction. So I'd pay close attention to anything that might happen. I'm paying attention to all the sort of military activity taking place in Iran right now, especially by the US. Aries is the god of war. And if we're talking about 0 degrees of Aries, the beginning of something, this could be the beginning of a big ass war. And since tensions are ramping up in Iran, I don't know, friends. I don't know. I do know that we will be able to get through it together, whatever ends up happening. I don't want to fearmonger, of course, but I don't want to also bypass the moment that we're living in, because it's real. It's real out here. It's very, very real. So be mindful with the information you're consuming, be intentional with the information you're consuming, and action oriented with the information you're consuming. Even if that means you get people together to have a meal. Anything you can practice right now. Bring people together. If you do anything revolutionary right now, if you're like, I don't know what to do, bring people together. Be a leader of relationship. Lead by example through relationship. Bring people together, because trust and believe, isolation is the last thing we need. Even if it's just 2 or 3 friends and you have dinner with them invite your neighbors, whatever. The more we could embody communal love as much as we embody self-love. And like, this is my ick around the whole spiritual commercialization movement. It's like self-love, boundaries, it's all for me. Like, no, I need to protect myself. But if that boundary is just an excuse or a limitation for really just allowing the rawness, the unpredictable nature that is human contact to exist, then you got to really look at that. You got to really, really look at that. But I'm tired. I don't have time. I don't care that you're tired. Do it anyway. I don't care. I can't text them back right now. I just don't have the time. You do have the time. You just don't want to. You like, and part of the work right now is doing shit you don't really want to do, but you know you have to do. So really care for those people around you, tend to those relationships, pour love into them, and be about it. Just be about it. It's okay to not have it all put together either. It's okay to not show up as your shiny self all the time. No one is expecting you to be ready to participate. You don't have to be like, I am my divine goddess ass self, and yes, I'm so ready to get people together and to help them connect with their power. It's like, no. I think probably one of the most radical things you can do is like still get together and be like, guys, I'm tired. I'm tired. How about you? I don't feel that shiny right now. There's work there. Okay? All right, friends. On that note, I love you all. I appreciate you. Thank you for listening to my talks. If you are watching on YouTube and you enjoy these conversations, please subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you're watching on Instagram, please go to my link in bio, subscribe to my YouTube, hit the notification bell, because it's also a cuter experience over there than on Instagram, in my opinion. There's a lot more conversation happening in there, which I really love. And also, if you're watching on Instagram or YouTube or Facebook even, please join the collective. It's my private membership community. I talk about all these astrologies on there. You get personalized readings, you get workshops, courses, and a private community to process this astrology in real time. So if you would like more regular conversations like this that aren't just like here and there, go to the collective. It's linked in the description below if you're watching on YouTube. It's linked in my bio if you're watching on Instagram. And for friends who are watching on Facebook, you can go to colormecrazy.info to sign up and find out the information from there. Okay? So lots of love to you. Appreciate y'all so much. If you arrived late, now you have an excuse to hit that notification bell so you don't miss one of my live shows. Because I love you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you so much. And the replay of this for friends will be on YouTube. As soon as I end the stream, you'll find it on YouTube. You'll find it in the live tab over there, and you can watch the beginning. And we'll go from there. Okay? Love you all. Say goodbye to everybody in the space before heading out. Talk to you very soon. Do the work. Be brave. Be bold. Be courageous. And bye for now. Yay! Love, love, love. Thank you, friend. Good to see you too. We're back, baby. We're back in the live shows. Yeah. I'm excited. I love being back on live. It took me a minute. I needed a sabbatical. Can you send the link in your bio, please? Love, if you just go to my profile, it's right there. Click that first link. I can't send a clickable link in here. So just go to my profile and click the link in there. Okay? All right, friends. Bye for now. Stay awesome indeed.